might even do a stream. We'll see. But yeah, let me know what your plans are. And I think we're live. I've been having nothing but technical issues this morning. But let me just double check here. Let's make sure we're up and running. And of course, everybody starts messaging me as soon as I start streaming. That's when I get nothing but constant signal messages and emails and all that sort of stuff. Let's see. Are we up and running? We are. And let me just... I'm going to switch over to the thing. Okay, there we go. Sorry, everybody. This morning, it makes me crazy. You know, you have I was copying and pasting the link for Twitter, for social media. No matter how many times I copied it, it would link to the wrong feed. So, for example, I was trying to copy and paste the URL to this feed. I would copy and paste it, and I would put it, wherever, and I click on it, and it would link to episode number 164. No matter what I did, no matter what I did, it was crazy. I tried different links, and anyways. So, of course, you have to reboot, and when you reboot in Streamlabs, then you have to restart and reinitiate everything, and you have to relink everything, and so there you go. So I think I deserve a pat on the back by being only like a minute late or something. Good morning, Megan. It's good to see you, and Beth, and everybody else. No plans other than this. We're talking about New Year's in locals. No plans for New Year's other than spending time in my happy place, aka my sewing room. Okay, well that's very cool. Listen, people have to have things that give meaning to their lives, have some sort of passion, and if that is your passion, then so be it. I'm thinking about if I can squeeze in, because I got a bunch of different people asking me to go out and do things on New Year's. I'm thinking about maybe doing a stream, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. I'll talk to everybody on Discord. And Discord's been pretty quiet for me just because I've been running around and out of the city quite a bit, as you know. But I will be back on Discord, not just out of the city. This is, leads into what we're going to talk about today, which is, prepping for 2024. But on that, I first want to say to all of you, good morning and an amazing morning for all of you. Hopefully this Saturday, the last Saturday of 2023, is the best Saturday of your life. And I want to welcome you to the Freedom Coffee live stream, as we call it here. This is our place where we get to celebrate the freedoms that we have and look to expand them in the future. And how do we do that? Well, step one, we gather around, we get together, and we get our coffee or our tea for some of you, which I know is the case. And because you can't change the world and make the world a better place and expand our freedoms if we're in a state of anxiety. And step number two, when you take your first sip of coffee, you're going to turn on that positive switch and you're going to feel all the anxiety just completely fall by the wayside. It's going to stream out of you, out of the tips of your fingers, and you're just going to be positive from that point forward. You see? I mean, it works for me. I'm sure it works for you as well. So please like, share, subscribe, and please share this with as many people as possible. This is going to be the thank you episode. There's so many thank yous to go around to reach out to so many of you. I want to thank you to Adam Meister. Adam and I did a stream together, which I recorded the audio. As you know, I do these streams as an audio podcast as well. And Adam is a Bitcoin OG, you may call him. He was in Bitcoin, 2012, 13, 2011, something like that. And he gave people some very excellent advice back then, telling them just buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. I think it was $400 at the time. And he was long into Bitcoin at that point. And a lot of people owe him a debt of gratitude, those who listened to him and kept his advice, which was to buy it and then just to hold it. So anyways, you can check that out. That was a great interview. I really like Adam. I met him in Las Vegas at the Unconfiscatable conference that was hosted by Tone Vase. And if any of you are into Bitcoin, I suggest coming to those conventions. It kind of gives the personal feeling to Bitcoin. Like you see many of these people in the space talking about stuff and whatever, but it's really different to get to know each other. And I know a lot of people are still uncomfortable. They don't know what it is. It's new technology. We get it. And that's a really good place to go to meet people, to get over some of your apprehensions about Bitcoin, right? And there's so many more resources now than when I and others got into it. So just a suggestion. I also want to thank everybody for all the, not just all the Christmas wishes, but all the support and financial support over Substack. I was shocked. I didn't anticipate that. So I want to thank all of you personally for supporting me in any way possible, and the way that you've supported me all through 2023 and 2022. And I wish there was a way for me to convey how appreciative I am. If I figure that out, I'll let you know. But other than telling you, I really do appreciate you all. And this space, unfortunately, I haven't been able to do these streams as regularly as I've wanted to, but that hopefully I'm trying to figure out a solution to that. And I really do like these opportunities for us to talk, and people join the live chat and send me DMs and stuff. And I really appreciate it. And in the last Substack, by the way, I introduced those of you who are in Canada to Beaver Bitcoin, and it's an exchange, but it's a really, really simple exchange. There's no noise. It's no all these different other coins. It's just Bitcoin. It's very simple. And I know a couple of you have actually registered, signed up, and are now using Beaver Bitcoin. Again, we got to support Canadian companies whenever we can. I think that's a good opportunity to do so. So, thank you, everybody. Like, really, I was quite surprised. Hello, BJ. Is Bridget? I can't. There's a little heart. Is Bridget telling me she's in Florida? Yeah, great. Go say hi to my folks. Enjoy the weather. Well, Bridget, at least it's not cold here. But yes, I do envy you to a degree, and I hope you're enjoying yourself. Wyatt, don't worry, I'm here. What's up, brother? It's good to talk to you. Okay, so a couple of things to go over, I think, and I think I'll be doing a few streams through this week, tomorrow included and stuff. But one of the ideas is, what's your theme for the year? So in addition to all the other things I've been trying to work through over the past couple of weeks since getting back from Vegas, El Salvador, then Vegas, whatever, is putting together my organizational structure, my processes, and doing a hard reset. Like this time of year is perfect for a hard reset, to step back, do the 50,000-foot view of your life, your projects, all the things you want to do, your bucket list, or I call it a parking lot, and going through everything and trying to figure out, okay, what did I do wrong last year with my system? What can I systematize that is not systematized? And how can I be more efficient next year with my personal productivity? And I think I recommend everybody to do this. So I spent the past couple of weeks, and I'm not complete yet. I'm about 80% of the way there in terms of doing this annual hard reset. And that in terms of, my Trello boards and my OmniFocus and all that sort of stuff, right? And what are the long-term views of projects? But this year, and this lays into my idea for a theme of next year. So first, to explain that. The reason you do a theme is it kind of becomes the general direction that you want to go in. So, for example, I know some entrepreneurs who I'm friendly with. One of them specifically said, who does this, he said his theme of next year is going to be weekends, that he's been working weekdays and weekends for years, and he doesn't have time with his kids and his family and stuff. So he said his theme for this year is to have weekends for myself, and to structure his organization and to structure his appointments and everything, and defer his weekend tasks to other staff members so he can have his weekend. So his theme is the theme of weekends, right? The theme of having free weekends. And there's so many other things that you can work on. Another person I know who does themes, his ideas, he wants this year to be the theme of calm. No chaos, no bandages, putting fires out, and, immediate things are collapsing. No. His theme is going to be, I'm going to plan everything, and anything that is, needs a direct attention immediately, he's just going to learn and force himself to defer it with, few exceptions. So he's going to get rid of the fires in his life. For myself, I think one of the things I'm going to be focusing on is automation. To take all of these systems that I have a little bit of automation, but I want to, 10x the amount of automation I have with my life, with tracking stuff and all that sort of stuff. And just because automation, at least from my perspective, equals more productivity. And it's because I have a bunch of other projects that are coming online this year that I got to focus on. And the way to do it is to automate. But what's your theme? I think Bridget's theme is to rub it in my face that she's in Florida right now. But anyways, I think it's a good exercise to sit back and take these few days before New Year's, even into the first couple of days of the new year, and sit back and think, let's take a 50,000-foot view of my life. What do I want to make a priority in a general direction? Not a goal. It's different than a goal. And, those of you who've heard me talk about this in the past, I'm not into goals. I'm into systems and processes and whatever. But, what's the general tone of what 2024 should be for me? And maybe it's positivity, right? Maybe it's to take all the negative noise in your life, whether it be through social media or certain people in your life, and just turn it off and just cut it out and just focus on having a positive frame for things. That's a good theme for a year as well, right? Kiss Junkie's here. Good to see you. I haven't seen you forever. How's that job working out? I know you mentioned something several months ago that it was great. Kiss Junkie, by the way, was one of the people who was laid off because of vaccine mandates. It was out of work for quite some time, like so many people in Canada. And she finally got back on her feet, got another job, and was very excited for her that happened. Okay, sorry, I can't see. Everybody's communicating for me. So Bridget is asking, is not in Florida. She's asking why I'm not in Florida. I'm not in Florida because I had to be in the truck this past week. I got to keep the wheels turning because I've been all over the place. As you know, I was in the UK and El Salvador and a bunch of different places, and I got to get the wheels turning because I got a bunch of stuff on my plate I got to deal with. So that's that's why I'm not in Florida, and I'm going to be in Florida in March. I think it's March. I got to check my schedule. Sometime in the middle of March before I go overseas again, but that's a whole other issue. And Kiss Junkie says, or Christine says, her job is okay and everything's going all well. It's going well. Well, Steve, there you go. Remember, through all that time, I kept promising people the world's not going to collapse. We'll get through it. Things will work out. It's just a matter of being adaptable and moving forward. Well, there you go. She's a perfect example that everything's working out for her. Goodness, I almost melted in Florida. I meant to live above the 40th parallel. Yes. Wyatt didn't endure the Florida heat very well. I don't know why. I love it, man. I don't know what you don't see in it, but but we did get to see Wyatt in shorts, and we all got a kick out of that, right? Anyways, Bridget says, "Oh my God, I can't do below 62. I was born." Okay, you know what? You guys can stay. I'll go to Florida on your behalf. How about that? I'll go salsa dancing and lay on the beach and get a tan and go for some mojitos and whatever. And you guys can chill in the snow, take pictures of the snow, show me how good it is, and we'll all be on the same page. Everybody gets what they want, right? Anyways, so theme of the year, I think that's important. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that this year, and I'll get some other examples. I think it helps a lot of people to help reframing and going in a general direction and reducing stress and anxiety that's needlessly there, sort of thing. So think about it. What is going to be your theme? You got a couple of days. You got today and tomorrow to think about what's going to be the overall general focus of what I want 24 to be about. Do I want it to be about positivity, calm? Do I want it to be about success and earning money? Do I want it to be about structure and organization? Do I want it to be about time with my family? So those are all sorts of things, right? Why it says I had to purchase shorts in Miami because I didn't own a pair. It's so weird, man. It's like, what do you know of a pair of shorts? Oh, man. Yeah, that's awesome, Wyatt. Okay. I typed in, I was in the middle of an interview yesterday, and in the middle of that interview, my Grok was activated on my Twitter X, or X-Twitter, or X.com, whatever you want to call it. And so for those of you who don't know, Grok is the AI tool for Twitter. And I encourage everybody to use and test as many AI tools as possible, because if you don't, in 10 years, you're going to be like people who tell me all the time today, when I ask them about things that are technologically related, they say, oh, I'm just not good with computers, which infuriates me. That's all hell. So now is the time, since AI is the very beginning, this is the time to test it, to use it, to learn how it works. It's something you can add to your skill set. And I've been testing a lot of different AI tools, and the most recent one being Grok. And what I do with Grok, the first thing I said is I asked it, because Scott has been talking about this a little bit, and I asked who is Scott Adams, because I wanted to test if it actually had a recent information database that it could access. Because I asked it some first prompts and it didn't know what I was talking about. So then I asked, okay, well, who's Scott Adams? And because Scott retweeted me within the past day or so, so it was on my mind. And so it explained who it was. And then as a resource, it posted somebody calling Scott Adams a tool. And I'm like, okay, all right, Grok. And then I said, okay, well, Grok, who is BJ Dichter? And it's what just happened there? Sorry, something's happening on my end. It responded with this. It said, BJ Dichter is a prominent figure in the Canadian political scene. He is known for his involvement in the 2022 Canadian convoy protest, where he served as one of the leaders and spokesperson. Dichter is a truck driver, a podcaster, and had previously run for office, including as a Conservative candidate in the 2015 election. He's also founder of the LGBTQ, no, we didn't do the Q, but conservative group LGBT Tory. In the past, he has been noted for his criticisms of partisan divisiveness and political tolerance towards extremism. I think it's both partisan divisiveness and political tolerance towards extremism, which is something that very, very much infuriates me. So it's great. And then it put it as a source, as kind of the source link. You know what it was? Bridget, you'll love this. It was the tweet thread of me outing Fed McKenzie as a Fed op and stakeholder for the political class. You know, as the guy who just shows up, says stupid things about Jews, and gets everybody in trouble all the time. Because that's what Fed ops do, right? That's why they're used by the political class. So I just thought that was hysterical, because Grok is different from the other AIs in that it's supposed to have a sense of humor. So it's supposed to understand contextual language to a degree. It's not quite there, but it's getting there. And they actually tried to give it a personality, and the personality they gave it was this is brilliant. This is why Elon Musk is a brilliant product manager. Sorry, a conceptual product guy. The personality he chose, one of my favorite authors, is the late Douglas Adams. For those of you who don't know who Douglas Adams is, he's the author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Dirk Gently books like The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, and that sort of stuff. So that was the character. And, you know, when you prompt it, it's not quite perfect, but you can actually sense that, oh, yeah, this is actually kind of how Douglas Adams would respond. It's super cool. It's very cool. Now, the sense of humor part and the joking part, that gets a little bit old pretty quickly. Some other people have said the same thing. But I don't know if I activated that part because I've seen some other prompts that other people have been using. And, when you set it up, it says, okay, you can click it to get it to tell you a joke. I never clicked it, so maybe it didn't activate the humor part as much as it has with other people. I don't know. But the point is, use this stuff. Learn this stuff. It's going to be very important because you got to see where the ball is going. And in the case of, I don't talk about my structure very much here, but let's just say I have a series of different apps, and I have basically they act as project management tools for my life and for all the projects that I'm involved in, businesses and all that sort of stuff. Well, the first step is to automate that as much as possible. And if you're within the Apple walled garden, I don't know how it is on Android and Windows, but in the Apple walled garden, they call it, you have these shortcut apps, which essentially are programmable APIs that can do multiple tasks. Think of them as like macros, but across your entire digital infrastructure. Well, the first step is to get as many shortcuts and automation running as possible, because the next step is going to be training an AI, I hope, to administer those programmable APIs that you had created, and then it can learn what you're trying to achieve, and then maybe it can create its own APIs. And that's when people will say to me, well, I don't know anything about, I'm not very good with AI, 5 years down the future. That's why it's important. Right now is the time. Right now is the time to spend time with it. Bridget, I hope that answers your question as one case examples of AI. It's also very good for, it's okay. I use it as like a hyper capable grammar and spell check editor when I'm drafting stuff. And it makes mistakes, which is really interesting, that it makes the same mistakes that humans make. But it's just a good way to do a repeat check, throw something in, see what it spits back to you, change it up, put it back in your words, all that sort of stuff. It actually makes the process of writing longer, but it helps me get to a more concise idea of what I'm trying to get to. So that's another purpose of AI. One of the things I'm trying to figure out right now is thumbnails. I want to do thumbnails for these live streams. So I haven't had a lot of time to work with. I've used Lisa quite a bit, a little bit of Midjourney. I'm about to start with DALL-E to figure out, okay, well, what's a good way that I can prompt for consistent thumbnails? Is that even possible? I don't know. So these are all just, very surface level and superficial uses for AI. And then there's going to be even more that we can't even anticipate at this point, right? So I need spell check and a grammar program. Yeah, it's a little bit more than that, but yes. Maybe you don't want to use it for that, right? That's a use that I found for myself. That's the whole point. It has a different use case and a different use purpose for everybody else. The trucking industry, Bridget, as we talk about. What is trucking? Trucking is logistics. It's the management of logistics, which is essentially project management. Well, a large swath of that industry could potentially be, if AI becomes a little bit more reliable than it is right now, that those tasks can be deferred to an AI. Well, that includes dispatch, load planning, brokering, all that sort of stuff. That can go directly into the hands of an AI that can administer 80% of that, right? So it's going to be a disruptive tool, but a very powerful tool. And, people always want to protest new technology. And unfortunately, we learn over and over again, well, some people learn over and over again, the economics always wins. So it's better to get on board with it than to fight it and figure out a way to integrate it into your life. Think about it this way, Bridget. If I had this sort of truck is not out there yet, but imagine you had a level 5 autonomous truck that could be administered with an AI. We're never going to be in a time, I don't think, where trucks will not have a driver. I think trucking is going to be like aviation. People just will not trust not having a human body in the cabin, like they don't trust not having a human body in the cockpit of an airplane. Okay, So what are you going to do? You're going to have kind of, this is more the philosophy of Boeing versus Airbus, but you're going to have a semi-autonomous atmosphere where you have a truck that is capable of full autonomy, but administered by a trucker. And what is the trucker going to do? This is how I see it going. The trucker is going to be the one who backs the truck up to the loading dock or hooks up to the trailer, does all the manual stuff, drives it in the city and gets it onto the interstate or on the highway. At that point, the AI or the level 5 automation, which will be run by AI, it's only a matter of time, will drive the truck on the interstate, and you, Bridget, get to put your feet up, bring your dog beside you, maybe hop on the computer, maybe do something else, and just administer what's going on, much like a pilot does in a plane. And then when you get to your destination, you want to pull off, you deactivate the autopilot or the AI or whatever it is. You get off the highway, you go to wherever you want, you do your thing, and then you get back on the highway, the same thing. That would be amazing. I could be so productive. I could be in the truck, and there's so many things I try to do when I'm driving. That's my creative space. For whatever reason, I just get creative when I'm driving. My creative thought process starts. So when I'm driving the truck, if either I'm listening to a podcast or I'm dictating into my drafts app and I'm just, writing things out, verbally, I'm thinking them out and I'm talking to them as I'm driving, right? It would be great if I could sit and edit it at the same time or clean it all up or all that sort of stuff. So I think it's just I don't know. I think it would be an amazing tool, and I would love to see more of it. But at the end of the day, it's inevitable. Whether we like it or not, it's happening, and it could be an amazing tool that makes us all hyper productive and also gives us more free time in our lives. At least that's how I see it. All right. What else is in the news? This is going to upset some people, but this is just a thought exercise. So I'm not challenging religion here. People like Wyatt here understand that I know how important religion is to our society, so I'm not suggesting that. But this has to do with the aliens. The alien conversation we're hearing. Even Tucker Carlson's talking about aliens, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's not real. I'm sorry. It's just not. But anyways, you hear all this talk about aliens, which, in the U.S., decades ago, the CIA was uncovered as using UFOs and alien stuff as a tactic, as a political tactic to distract from certain things. I think it was the Vietnam War, particularly, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been before that, but I thought it was the Vietnam War. But the point is, we're hearing the alien narrative all over again. Like Alex Jones is taking over everybody's brain. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And, we hear all the claims, credible people, because credible people never lie, right? We saw that during COVID. Credible people with letters behind their names, they never lie, ever. That's sarcasm, by the way, if you didn't catch it. So you hear all these claims. You hear all the, and they're always, hearsay. They're always third party. Oh, it's somebody I know said or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You don't see any good pictures. There's no good pictures. There's no bodies, nothing to touch, no people with first person accounts. It's always somebody who knew somebody. And so it's clearly not real. Okay. But that's not the point. That's why I'm getting to it, right? And by the way, this is not another example, in the case of Tucker Carlson, of conservatives trying to empower the opposition, which happens frequently in Canada, as we know. But this is the thought exercise part, okay? So the alien stuff, let's assume for a second, and I don't agree with this. This is not my opinion. But let's assume for a second that the aliens were real, okay? They're not. But let's assume they are. Yes, I've been to Rockwell. I know what you're talking about, and it's a bunch of crazy people. Anyways, that's a whole other issue. So, but let's assume for a second the idea of aliens is real. Okay. Now, under the auspice of this idea that aliens are real, Scott, who I've spoken to a couple of times, did a poll. And the poll was this. Assuming that the story of the aliens is real, okay? And for whatever thing. Hold on the topic of religion, I agree with James Lindsay that Christian nationalism is 100% an op. Yes, it is. It totally is. We saw Freedom Convoy kind of addressed a lot of that. I didn't know he said that. That's quite good. Okay, so assuming the aliens were real, okay, so that takes into question all the origin stories we have throughout humanity, right? It might even plug into some of the ambiguity of claims made by the Sumerians, right? Those of you who are into ancient history, you'll understand that. But, okay, assuming that it's real, Scott asked this poll, and I found it fascinating, and this proves a point that he talks about, Cialdini talks about, I try to talk about, Erickson talked about, many other people, which is this. This was his question. If the aliens are real, do you still believe in, he didn't word it this way, but do you still believe in the tenets of your religious teachings, right? God created the world in 7 days, created man and woman, all that sort of stuff. All the things that you see that start in the Old Testament, which I studied in school for many, many painful years, right? So if you know and again, I don't agree with this. This is just a thought exercise, okay? So and he asked this in a poll, if the origin stories of what we know is false and the aliens are real, which calls into question all the perspectives from religious doctrine, do you still believe in all the tenets of your religion? What percentage of people do you think said yes? So the point is, you believe something, evidence comes in and shows that your belief is incorrect. Again, this is not my opinion, this is just a thought exercise. Evidence comes in to show that your opinion is incorrect. Do you change your mind and say, oh, I can't believe what I believed was wrong. Let's explore this new idea of what is actually truth. 63% said their beliefs would remain unchanged. That's why the facts do not matter. Because in this thought example, you've given people a very clear path to you believe something. Evidence comes in to disprove what you've believed. Do you change your mind? No. You just stubbornly stick to your belief system. Because people are programmed based on belief. They're not programmed based on fact. Which is something that, we see that in all these political things that we're dealing with right now. We see this with the Israel versus the terrorists. Well, I shouldn't call them terrorists. They're more scumbags, but whatever. We see this with Freedom Convoy and the truth of what's gone on behind the scenes, what myself and others were subjected to. That when you show people the fact, they don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter. And that is the subjective rot that is ruining our society today. The fact that people, and this has always been the case, is how people are, but I think that pendulum swings farther back and forth depending on, how how society is shifting. But I think we're shifting in the wrong direction towards more subjectivism versus objectivism, meaning we need to challenge our beliefs. That's why, some conservatives get upset with me because I said to them privately that, most of my influences growing up were all kind of liberal. Why? Because I understand what my value system is. I understand what's important to me, and I'm pretty libertarian anyways. But I want to understand what the other side thinks. I don't need to be in an echo chamber full of people telling me what I already know. That doesn't help me. I need to hear what the other side who I disagree with thinks, which is, again, what I used to our advantage in Ottawa, understanding how to kind of navigate their worldview, which they found frustrating. On the topic of religion, hold on. If there was a verse where God promises aliens do not exist, then okay. So hold on. Now I can read it. Why it says if there was a verse where God promised aliens don't exist, then they do. Then we would have a problem. Okay, I understand, but that's not the. Yes, I know. God could have created the aliens too. I get that. But that's not the point. The point is in this example. That's why I said if it challenges, if it shows that it challenges our origin story. That's all. Again, this is not about religion. I'm a supporter and I'm not against religion. This is the thought exercise of a really good case example of it doesn't matter the truth to so many people. And this is not about left or right. This is just people who are fueled exclusively by a belief system. It doesn't matter the facts you show them, they won't change their minds. This is also why, we saw during Freedom Convoy, some of the subverters like, oh, give them the vaccine statistics and whatever. Like, no, because then they're just going to say, I don't believe your data. Boom, that's it. You're done. Like, that's why it's important to understand how to communicate to people emotionally and how to connect with them, to meet them where they are at. And once you can meet them where they're at, and you might even have to, concede on things you disagree with and say, okay, I disagree with, but I hear your point. Now let me bring you into my framing so you can see the world from my frame. That's how you persuade people over time, right? The question is flawed. Why can't I like this? This is awesome. Why can't you expand your belief to include that aliens were also created? I know, but I'm trying. What I said, I know. That's why I said, if it shows that, if it calls into question the origin stories, right? Yes, God could have created the aliens too. We get that. But my saying, if it shows that that's not the case. Again, I'm not against religion. I'm not saying, I'm just trying to show that people are not persuaded by facts. People are not. That is not how you persuade people. There are many different instruments that you use, things like reciprocity, emotional connection. There's a whole long list of things that you use. But facts are not one of them. This is something that I've seen over the years. It frustrated the hell out of me and the Jewish community. They're addicted to just, here are the facts about Israel. No one cares. No one cares about the facts about Israel. They don't care. You have to figure out a way to reach them. And you're not going to reach people with facts that they disagree with. You're just going to say, I don't believe your facts, which is what you see all over the place. And that's why you have these lunatics that are protesting all over our cities. But anyways, I thought it was an important idea for us to share, because I want to talk more about this, how we reach people, because it's important we reach people on the other side. The ones who are willing to listen, which is about 15% of people. If we can reach 15% of people, basically, because we see people now, you see people putting on these stupid masks again, right? Because the box on the wall told them to be afraid, so they're going to be afraid again, right? Because again, they don't get persuaded by information, by data. Well, they don't get persuaded by facts. They get persuaded by the narrative around those facts, which is why they're starting to put them on again. Bridget says, I agree with your point. I experienced it when, I experienced it when when I was told Tamara was the leader, and it mattered when she was in question, when what I said was proven true. It no longer mattered, so I do get it. Yeah, exactly. It's the facts don't matter, right? But there are other ways to persuade people, and we'll talk about that more and more over time. Okay. Now some positive stuff. I'm going to give you some really good stuff. Javier Milei, the hero of Argentina. And I think this is going to be way more significant than people understand. I think this is going to change politics around the world. I think this is going to grant greater freedoms to us around the world. Even though it's Argentina, a country that most people probably can't point to on a map, I did an interview with Mark Petroni about this and discussed this a little bit more detail. Lesser detail. What am I saying? Because we did kind of a short interview. So Argentina was the 6th or 7th wealthiest country in the world 100 years ago. That was the power of the Argentinian economy. Because Argentina is like Canada, right? It's just a bunch of natural resources with Buenos Aires and a bunch of pueblitos all over the country. So very similar, and which is why it's scary, the trajectory that Canada is on right now with Prime Minister Blackface, the most racist person to hold office in Canadian history, that veiled communist. He's going in the same direction as Juan Perón, right? And we don't want to go in that direction. That is very bad, which is why that needs to stop. And if you think the conservatives are going to save you, conservatives do what the liberals do, but they do it at the speed limit. So they'll slow it down, but they'll still do the same bullshit. Okay, so it was the 6th or 7th strongest economy in the world 100 years ago. Javier Milei gets into power. And, I know some of these very kind, very nice people in the United States who are very wealthy, had very, very successful careers in finance, and they're all very libertarian. So they're not into the Democrat versus Republican space. They're just libertarian philosophy, kind of, Stephen Hicks is in that space, the Mises Institute, Ayn Rand, that sort of stuff, right? And they were just, one of them was, I think he was crying the night that Milei got elected. He said, I can't believe it. We finally have somebody who understands our philosophy leading a country, because although the legacy media is going to try to lie about and smear him the same way they lied about and smeared myself and the Freedom Convoy and Bridget and everybody else, it's the same, character assassination. So just be in one ear, out the other, ignore it. Javier Milei's got a PhD in economics and is an expert in Austrian economics, which is what libertarian philosophy is built on. And in 2 weeks that he's been in office, 2 weeks, this is what Javier Milei has been able to achieve, and this is cause for positivity in the future. And I'll explain why in a second. In 2 weeks, Javier Milei has eliminated 12 out of 21 cabinet posts. He's fired 5,000 government employees already. He's ended 380,000 government regulations, banned woke language in the military, introduced a bill to affirm the right to self-defense, which we don't have in Canada. We'll park that for the near future. A bill to legalize homeschooling of kids. Proposal to punish all riot organizers and cut their future welfare cuts for road blocking. I had some NPC say to me, but the truckers blocked the roads. The truckers weren't on welfare. Those are all small business people that wanted to go back to work. They didn't want to go on welfare. Opposite direction, right? He has legalized paying contracts utilizing Bitcoin. Privatization of state-run companies. Many companies apparently are being privatized. That had been nationalized in the past, which is what communists and people like Chavez did and all that sort of stuff. And he's opened up Argentina's oil industry. 2 weeks, that guy has done more in that country than any prime minister in Canada's history. In 2 weeks. Fascinating. Fascinating what can happen when somebody is not captured by the protection racket that protects our political parties in Canada. Isn't that amazing, right? So I think it's really, the reason I think this is so positive for all of us is because this shows that if this guy, if Milei is successful, which, the economic data shows that he will be, let's see, as long as it goes unimpeded. If he's successful, the political structures around the world will see that, because you and I will see that. The average normie on the internet will see it. And they're going to they'll have to make one of two choices. They're going to have to triple down on the smear attacks of that sort of philosophy, or, which I think is more likely, they're going to realize, wait, we can make money with this. There's a vacuum in representing libertarian philosophy or libertarian economic philosophy in our politics in the United States or Canada. So maybe our firm should start looking for partners, stakeholders, activists, candidates that can help fill that void. And if that happens, we are going to see a major shift in Western political society over the next generation or two, that maybe we're going to be coming out of the postmodern era, which was seeded in the 1960s, and we're going to end up in a much freer society. And by the way, Milei was a big supporter of the trucker convoy and was watching that. So we can put that feather in our cap as well. So we inspired RFK to adopt Bitcoin. We saw political figures around the world take notice to the trucker convoy. And now the president of Argentina was watching what we were doing in Ottawa and was a supporter. I don't know. We'll see. I like him. Can we import him? Listen, you can go to Argentina, pero tú necesitas hablar español. Entonces, and Bridget, by the way, learning Spanish is not that hard. And when I go to the States, when I'm going to warehouses in the U.S., I use it all the time. All the time. When they say, oh, it's the gringo who speaks Spanish, then it's like, oh, yeah, we'll put you in line ahead of this other guy. so it really helps, especially when you drive down to Florida, right? Okay, so just to end on some, the whole idea of positive framing, ending off 2023, and then figure out what's going to be the theme of 2024. If I was going to give any of you homework, I would suggest, because we'll talk about this more this week. I'll be on this week actually quite a bit doing streams, because I want us to share this idea and help each other. I think this is take the next couple of days, step back and say, hey, listen, let's take this positive energy that we have out of what I think, by the way, was one of the most positive Christmases in years. Remember all that, oh, don't say Merry Christmas, just say Happy Holidays? Didn't that seem to just fade away? And everybody was back to wishing each other Merry Christmas? Wasn't that refreshing to see? That is, I think we've hit peak stupidity and we're coming back to more rationality. So it's a perfect time to look at 2024 and say, okay, hey, what can I do? What's going to be the positive frame of my 2024? And keep it simple. Just do something simple. What do I want to do? Do I want to focus on, turning off negative media? Do I want to turn off legacy media and just ignore it completely? Do I want to turn off the noise? Do I want to mitigate it? Do I want to spend time with my family? Do I want to get a dog or a pet or something like that? But focus on ideas that will make this year better for all of us, right? And take that 50,000 foot view of life, and then you can work down the scale and then prioritize your strategies, which we're going to talk more about all on this stream all throughout 2024. Voice of Reason, hey, what's up? It's good to see you. Everybody's coming in as I'm just about to end because I got to go run to a meeting right now. BJ, Merry Christmas to you, my brother. Ward, it's good to see you, brother. Sorry I'm late. Hope all is well. And I hope all is well for you, Ward. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. I hope you had time with your loved ones and your family, and you guys were able to turn off all the noise and just focus on all the good things. And I'll tell you what, I went for Christmas dinner, the night after Christmas dinner, I went for like a more casual Christmas dinner with some family members, my biological family. And it was very interesting to see the conversation around the Christmas dinner table, how it has changed over the past couple of years. Two things I noticed. One, I'm going to have to say a bad word in a second, so forgive me. The first was a lot more positive view despite all the frustrations of what they're seeing. And there was a whole lot of, Bridget will appreciate this, there was a whole lot of I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say what I want now. A lot of that. More so than any other year. In the past, people were worried, you don't want to upset people, you don't want this. Now people don't care. No, now I'm just going to say what I want, whether people like it or not. And this is from average normies who basically live in the legacy media world. Even they're fed up. And this is a range of people. This wasn't left or right or whatever. This is people who don't really know anything about politics, right? So Ward was with his son. That's all he needed, brother. God bless you, man, and you and your family and everybody. And I also hope that none of you, I lost my family and I lost a dear friend last year on Christmas Day on the 25th. And I do hope that that none of you suffered anything like that. And if you do, hopefully, or if you did, hopefully those people are in a better place now. That's all we can hope for, right? But I hope you did get the chance to be with your friends and family and loved ones and appreciate them and didn't let the noise of all the political stuff get at you. And I hope you had the same sort of positive experience that I did, just sitting back and listening to people and saying, oh, hey, everyone's fed up. This is great. Because I think there's positive change on the horizon. So I believe last year the buses said happy holidays back. Okay, so this is according to Beth. She says, I believe last year the buses in her area said happy holidays. Back to Christmas, this is good. Yes, I saw a lot of that. And you saw a lot of people who are kind of liberal, centrist liberal, left, slightly left, saying Merry Christmas, back to Merry Christmas, right? Listen, Hanukkah's the beginning of December. You can wish us happy Hanukkah when it's happening, but at the end of December, that's Christmas. And I've always tried to tell people people got to understand the Christian frame, that when they're wishing you Merry Christmas, that's their version of telling you they love you. At least that's been my experience growing up. So I hope, I really do hope you all had an amazing season. And amen to all of you, and you too, brother. All right, I'm going to run because I got 6 minutes to get to my next appointment. I got to get in the car, and I might be a few minutes late. 16 minutes. I love you all. I will talk to you all soon. And if you're around, if you want me to do a stream New Year's Eve, let me know. I'd be open to that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And Kiss Junkie, I'm so glad to hear everything worked out at the new job. That's amazing. And if you want to talk more about it, please. And we got to give that sort of hope and optimism to as many people as possible. I think 2024 is going to be an amazing year. I got to be honest. We might have some economic correction. But, no matter how difficult the economy gets, we're all adaptable. We can all plow through it and figure things out and make it work. Don't let that pollute your mind with negativity. And I think 2024 is going to be an amazing year. I think this is going to be the first year of the shift of away from crazy town. And it's just going to take 20 years, right? So it's the first of 20, but we're going in the right direction, right? The elevator stopped working. All right, Bridge, I hope you're not stuck. All right, peace out, Ward. Happy New Year, everybody, and we will talk to you all